Hello fellow daydreamers. It's been a long time, mainly because I stopped bullet journaling completely halfway through 2024. Still, I can't say why exactly that was. Could have been the different journal format, could have been the overall theming, could have been my turbulent life overall. The only thing I know is that I want to get back into it since it did improve my life over the last few years and gave me much needed structure in achieving my goals and completing various projects. This is why I'm returning back to my well-known A5 format using this notebook therapy dotted notebook. It's the Tsuki Gentle Giant edition, also linked in the video description. It is truly gorgeous with this deep blue velvety cover and the silver whale and night sky drawing and the little wave on the spine. The pages are pretty wide and quite thick, 160 GSM. Perfect to use a variety of different stationery and pens without major ghosting. I've been using the brand before for my media journal and last year's travel journal sized Bujo. For pens, I got these dual tip brush pens last year. They've got a brush tip on one end and a fineliner in the same color on the other end. They will be accompanied by my loyal black Pilot fineliner. We're starting on the nameplate page, naturally to really address this book to me and my creating. Since I don't like skipping this kind of awkwardly glued first page, I'm only putting a Hello 2025 here and an overarching prompt at the bottom that sets me up with a good attitude for that year. I actually got that one from ChatGPT when I asked it what I should be remembering next year based on my birth chart and the age of Aquarian Pluto we're in now. The quote it gave me was, "I welcome transformation as a tool for growth. I trust my intuition, embrace deep connections, and remain open to the wisdom of the unknown. With courage and creativity, I align my actions with my higher vision." I've also asked ChatGPT about the reflection work I should be doing in hindsight of 2024. 2024 has been a year of laying the foundation for the transformative energies of the next 2 decades. It advised me to reflect on how I faced challenges, embraced my individuality, and have taken steps toward deeper self-awareness and broader worldview. It was a year to prepare, release, and expand, setting the stage for the powerful transformations ahead in 2025 and beyond. So I went with 4 sections to form lists. My biggest transformations this year, things I'm letting go of, moments of empowerment, and new beliefs. On the right side, I constructed a mind map in the center, being me to situate me in all kinds of different life areas, beliefs, goals, hopes, and dreams. The areas that I highlighted with colors to emphasize them more are relations, career, finance, growth, self-love, mental and physical well-being, as well as my home. Branching out from these bigger topics, I nestled sub-themes around them that will help me with my goal setting that is coming next. Derived from this sort of framework, I can now more easily formulate quarterly goals like I do every year. Quarters just seem to be my sweet spot. Creating year-long goals is just too abstract for me to break them down, whereas shorter-term goals pressure me too much. So I will again work with the 4 quarters and the 4 seasons of the year that have a huge impact on my daily life, as I tried to explain in some other videos. I will also be splitting them into 3 major goals for the quarter and 3 accompanying minor changes or routines. To visualize my way through the next year, I'm also bringing back the roadmap layout from previous years. Here I can create a pathway from top to bottom and indicate different goals and projects through bigger and smaller circles and doodles. Once I've completed them, I get to color them in with the corresponding color of the month, which is always very satisfying. Following these more overspanning and big plan type spreads is naturally my future log. I wanted to fit this one in one single spread since I never have too many set events to mark down this far in advance. Here is where the corresponding colors of the months are apparent for the first time. I'm being guided here by the last page of the journal that I dedicated to pen swatches of my dual tip brush pens. It's also where I noted down the specific colors for the months of 2025. Under the mini calendars is a small space to note down a challenge of the month. That brings me to the explanation of this year's theming, since I'm not sure if my overarching theme of 2024, being all things cozy, was simply too abstract to pull through with it. I'm dialing it back a little for 2025. Still, it is important to me to have a year-long consistent theme so that I continuously am inspired and guided to journal through all of the 12 months. But it needed to be clearer and simpler. I finally settled on the idea of a rainbow for my yearly pages and then one distinct main color for every month of the year. In these months, I will focus on a more monochromatic feel in that specific color, but I'll be using all kinds of media, pens, paper, stickers, washi, and so on. Also, because I've accumulated so much stationery that it is just sitting on my shelves. The rainbow will really come together in the next few spreads, just you wait and see. We're starting here with red on the right-hand border. We're also getting into more specific yearly planning now. I'm starting with a master list spread like I've also had it in the last 2 or 3 years. It's where I can break down long-term projects and compare the workload of the different months. The next 2 pages will be dedicated to university, since that area takes up most of my time next year. On the left is where I will visualize certain milestones like papers, presentations, and action steps of my master's thesis. I divided that page into my 2 semesters. On the other side is where an assignment log can go. Here I can list the specific tasks, the seminar or sphere they're in, and their due dates. Next up, I'm diving into finance-related spreads. I'm starting with my investment kind of Tetris blocks. They are separated into different objects, travels, or activities that I need to save up for. Once I'm saving a certain amount of money, I can color in parts of the shape to have an overview of how much is still missing. Beside that fits a savings tracker because these two are closely related. Here I note down the total amount I saved every month. This is the point where I've unfortunately lost some footage in the midst of the setup because it got corrupted, but I'll quickly tell you what I did. Luckily, we still got the B-roll. First, there is another finance spread where I can track the money that comes in, through pocket money, my job or other sources. Under it is the same table, just with a budget for the month and the money that goes out, being fixed as in reoccurring expenses, as well as the variable amount every month. Next to those tables is another log, specifically for big bills, more expensive stuff like taxes. The middle spread of this waterfall tab rainbow is also the slimmest one, so I needed to be a bit creative with how I would fit anything here. But a year in pixels tracker fit perfectly. I dedicated this one to my movement that I want to make a base habit of mine. And I assigned colors for the pixels for different types of movement, being dance, core strength, upper and lower body exercises, Pilates, yoga or stretching, and walking. On the right side is where I wrote out my word of the year, which is rebirth. I read quite a bit about the big Pluto transition from Capricorn into Aquarius for the next about 20 years, and that means a lot of change. For my birth chart specifically, it's overall good change though. Still, I kind of need to reinvent myself and use this changed energy for that. I also had the idea to combine my bullet journal with my media journal, which I had a separate book for the past 2 years. And I also have some pages of my bujo left at the end of the year every time. So why not put these two together? That's why there is a log for A to Z media challenge. I like these kinds of challenges in other people's setups, but I wanted to choose a quite approachable one for myself. Next to it is where I wrote down my planning routine daily, weekly and monthly, so I can refer back to it whenever. Next up, I wanted to have some travel spreads since that is a passionate topic in my life as well. On the left is where my booked trips for the year go. I already got 2. I'll be visiting Edinburgh again and Ibiza. On the right, I had space left, so I chose to do a travel bucket list to freely collect interesting places I want to see in my life. The spreads are starting to get a bit bigger again, so I'm using that fact for a picture of the month spread. It was too much for me to do whole monthly picture collages, but I think I'll manage to do 1 pic per month. The last spread of the month, where I also lost some footage again, is a timeline. Basically, I drew a big arrow from left to right with stations on it from January to December. From these points on, I can doodle things or write a list of happenings that month. This one mirrors the picture of the month spread nicely, and I get a concise summary of the year that will be joyful to look back on, I'm sure. And just like that, we're into the final flip-through of next year's bullet journal setup. Hopefully, I'll be getting back into the swing of things and regain my joy and gratitude for this form of reflection, coping, collecting memories, and planning life. If you wish to dream along some more, please subscribe and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!